Hey friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Alexis and I'm so excited to talk to you guys today about all the books that I read in April. I read a good amount of books for me. I only have 2 physical copies of books that I've read so far, but I read a lot on Libby this month as well, just because I've been working a ton this month, and because I've been working a ton, I can bring a physical book, but it's so much easier just to like read on my phone while I'm at work. So that's what I've been doing. So I've been doing a good mix of everything. So I have these books. I read 4 books in total, and I'm also going to talk about my TBR for May, and one of the books that I've already finished reading, and it's only May 3rd, but I've already finished 1 book of my TBR. So very exciting. Let's get into it. And we're going to start off strong with one book that I read on Libby, which is The Lightkeeper's Ball. Let me go to Goodreads. So this is The Lightkeeper's Ball by Colleen Cobble. If you don't follow me on Goodreads, go follow me. I'm pretty sure my @ is just alexisglass. Yeah. I'll put it in the caption or whatever. But I read The Lightkeeper's Ball by Colleen Cobble. So apparently it's 3rd in like a series or like a world, and I read it out of order. But this book was a 5 freaking stars. So this book follows Olivia Stewart, and it also follows Harrison Bennett. So Olivia Stewart, this takes place in like early United States history. I don't even know. But this one takes place in kind of like the old English type. People still wear dresses and they still go to balls and parties and stuff like that. So that was a fun part. But basically Olivia Stewart, her older sister, Eleanor, basically goes to marry Harrison Bennett in California across the world. So they're from New York, and she goes to marry this wealthy man because he's just wealthy, and that's like what they do. Because he's wealthy, and that's something that is important to them, so that they can continue their legacy and marry well. That's like their goal, to marry well. So she goes, and then all of a sudden they get word that Eleanor has died. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So Olivia, apparently she's drowned. Olivia does not believe it. She thinks she was murdered. So Olivia goes to California and basically like tries to figure out who killed her sister. So that's like basically the plot of the whole book. Some subplot of romance happens. Love it, love it, love it. And then also just they find out who it is at the end. But honestly, I could not figure it out. Like, you know how sometimes in mysteries or like suspense, you can kind of figure it out. Like, it's kind of obvious who it is. But in this book, I literally could not figure it out. It took me forever. It took me until the last second, right before like it revealed, to actually find out who did it. And I think that's why I gave it a 5 stars, because like not a lot of books can do that for me, because I feel like I can figure it out. I'm like pretty easy to figure it out, but it actually did it for me, and I was like so happy about it. So that was really great, and definitely 5 stars. Started off really strong. This is the only 5-star of book of April for me. But love, love, love this book. I really want to get a physical copy just because I love this book so much. And yeah, so that was a great book. On to the next one. So the next one I read was Fame, which I have it right here. Fame by Karen Kingsbury. If you know me, you know I love Karen Kingsbury. And you know I love her writing, and I love how her writing, it has always little hints of Jesus in there, and just different things like about the Lord and the relationship with God, and how the characters are Christians most often, or characters are, you know, shows them coming to faith. So this book was about one of the Baxter's children, the oldest Baxter's child, this is Dane. And Dane, at this point of his life, does not know the Lord. He had just figured out of his family, because he was adopted. He just found out about the Baxter's family, that is his, like, you know, actual family. And this is his kind of intro, basically. This is a series. This is the start of a Firstborn series, and it's basically just an intro. Honestly, I thought we were gonna get more out of this book. Like, honestly, I really thought I was gonna get more out of this book, but I didn't. And it was like just like scratching the surface of the series, which is fine. But I feel like sometimes when the book does that, it makes me kind of annoyed, because then I have to go buy the second book, and I was gonna go buy the second book anyways. But at the same time, that made me like kind of annoyed because I was like really hoping to get some of the plot of the romance between him and his love interest in this book, but I got like nothing, and I was just like, man, like a little disappointed. So this one I had to rate 3 stars. It was good. It was good to like for the plot of the story. Definitely needed to read it if I wanted to continue on with the series. I'm still debating if I want to. But yeah, it was good, but I don't think it was like above a 3 stars for me. So that was that. Then I went to my sister's house this past weekend, and we went to Barnes & Noble, and so I don't have a Barnes & Noble near me, and that is a tragedy first in itself. But number 2, she does. So we went to her Barnes & Noble, and I love the Barnes & Noble that she has in her area. It's so beautiful, and it has a little coffee shop area. So I did my homework, and we went and got some books because they had a 50% off table, and I saw this on that table, and I was like, yes. You bet your bottom dollar I'm getting one. I'm getting this. I've heard so many great things about this book and this duology. It's a duology. So there's Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves. So this book, oh my gosh, I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. Like I literally flew through this book in 3 days. 3 days. Like literally 3 days I flew through this book. So good. But at the same time, it took me a little while to get into it because I'm not like a gigantic fantasy reader. Like I like fantasy whenever it's a little bit easier for me to understand. I like dystopian stuff where it's like still in my world so I can understand like the context a little bit, but it's like a dystopian thing. But this one is definitely fantasy, and it was kind of harder for me to get into, but when I got into it and when I started to understand it, I loved this book. So freaking good. The love interest and the character, the subplot of romance was great. I just loved how the subplot of romance like wasn't like taking up the whole plot of the story. It was kind of like subplot, which is my favorite type of romance when it's subplot in like stories like this, or even stories like the Lightkeeper's Ball, where it's like subplot. So this was really great. I think I gave it a 3.75. Not my favorite fantasy I've ever read, but it was really great. And I'm currently reading Vow of Thieves, which is I'm reading it on Libby, but I'm actually getting the physical copy soon. I'm so excited because these covers are so beautiful. And honestly, I just enjoyed it. I had a fun time reading this book, but it wasn't like it wasn't a 4 stars quite. But I definitely think the Vow of Thieves is definitely going to be more than a 4 stars just because I'm reading it right now on Libby, and I really, really, really like it. So yeah, that's this. And I had a great time reading this, but it's not quite a 4 or not even a 5. So I don't know, but I liked it. It was really great. Okay. Next book that I read all the rest of the books I read on my Libby app. I read The Summer Turned Pretty, and yeah. Everybody's read that. I've seen the show. It's on Prime. I've seen the show. Yeah, I liked the book better. I don't know why, or I liked the book a little bit better than the show just because it was a little bit more closed door in a way, or like less, not graphic, but the TV show wasn't really fruitful for me to be watching as a Christian. But the book, I don't really know. I didn't really like it. I liked it, but I don't know. Compared to the TV show, which had a lot of things going on, it kept you at your attention with like the debutante thingy. You know what I'm talking about. Where they have like a little thing where they dress up in white and anything. Like that thing, they didn't have that plot at all in the book, and I was like, man, like that was a big plot in the TV show, and I was expecting it to be in the book, but it wasn't. And I feel like because it wasn't in the book, there wasn't really much going on besides just the romance, and I was just okay. I like romance to be like subplot. I like when a romance book and the romance in the book doesn't take up their entire like life. You know what I mean? I like the books that the romance doesn't take up their entire life and it doesn't take up the entire plot of the book. That there's some actually other things going on in their life that they talk about in the book, and that didn't really happen very much in that book. So I gave it a 3 stars. And I feel like it's still a pretty good rating because I mean I did fly through the book in a couple days, but I just was wanting more and there wasn't giving, and I just don't know if I recommend it. Okay, now on to my TBR for May. So let me go get one book that I literally already just finished. Like I said, remember I went to Barnes & Noble and I got The Vow of Thieves, and it was 50% off with Oh, buy one, get one 50% off. This is the book that I got 50% off. This one. I got the selection. My sister suggested it to me because she was saying that like I would really like it. It's like a romance series. And I can't say that I didn't like it. I flew through it in like 2 days. Pretty good, but I don't know what I feel about it. It was good. It was a fun romance. I like the strong-willed main character. She's a very strong-willed main character. She's a redhead. We love redheads. I have 2 redhead sisters. Love them. Basically, this is about America's Singer, and this is called The Selection. So the selection is basically when 35 girls get a chance to be like in the running to marry the prince of this like country. So she is in the running. She doesn't necessarily want to be there, but she comes into the running because she has actually loved somebody else. And so it's like that love story, but also the blooming love story of her and the prince. But then it ends. Literally it ends before we get into like the story. And I'm like, why? Why? This is literally what just happened in Fame. And I was like, ah! So I read this already in May, but I'm gonna put it in the video just cause. But I read this like a 4 stars. I did like the book. I did. But that part really made me irk me. But, yeah, I don't know. Okay, so that was that. Now, the other books that I want to finish reading and read is, obviously, Vow of Thieves. I would love to get that book done. It's a lot of plot heavy, and I'm so excited about that because there's a lot going on, a lot of like battles and a lot of all that kind of stuff going on right now, and it's kind of exciting, and I love reading things like that sometimes if it's written right. If it's just written like really boring, then I'm like, oh my gosh, just get the romance already. But the Vow of Thieves has been really, really good so far, so I have high hopes for that. But another thing that I want to read is P.S. It's Gonna Be Good by Heidi Lee Anderson. I love her. I got gifted this book by actually Heidi Lee Anderson herself, and I want to finish this book this month. I am about a couple chapters in, and I love this book so far. I love her writing. It's kind of like a devotional book in a way, but not at the same time. It's hard to describe this book, but I love it so much. It's basically talking about how God's word answers our questions about faith, fear, and all the things. And each chapter she talks about a different person in the Bible, and then like discusses like how we can relate to that person and how we can see ourselves with that in that person perspective. And it's so good because her writing is like you're actually talking to Heidi Lee Anderson, and it's so freaking fun to like read. So I'm gonna actually have Heidi on the podcast episode, so be looking out for that. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited, y'all. So that's the name I have on my TBR for May. I keep on saying it's so crazy that's May. So freaking crazy that's May. Okay. The other one that I want to read is Karen Kingsbury, Like a Dandelion Dust. I just got this book from a friend. This seems like a wonderful book. I haven't really read much about it quite yet, but I'm gonna try to read that this month. And besides that, I would love to, I think I'm gonna maybe pick up the second book in this series called The Elite. And I may do it on my Libby app just because I don't want to buy the physical copy if I'm not going to be interested in reading. I'm going to read it like a couple chapters and then see if I want to buy the physical copy of the second book. But there's there's 6 books in the series, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I think about it, but right now I'm just gonna do it on Libby. But yeah, so that's my TBR for this month. I'll probably be reading more in the Bible. This month talk about the Bible reading, because I'm always reading the Bible. Love the Word of God. This past month in April, I finished reading Psalms. I was like a couple Psalms away. Finished reading Proverbs. Also finished reading Ecclesiastes, and then I also read 1st and 2nd Corinthians. So read a lot in the Bible this month, but one of my goals to the end of this year is to finish the Bible in a year. So I'm really excited to be able to do that. And I've just been learning so much from all the books of the Bible that I've been reading in the Old and the New Testament, and it's so wonderful. I just love reading the Bible, and now I'm currently reading in Isaiah, and oh my gosh, y'all, I love Isaiah. I love Isaiah so much. And I'm also reading Galatians, and Galatians is so wonderful in itself as well. So I'm just having a great time with all my reading, and yeah. So thanks for watching this YouTube video. I hope this is something that inspired you to read a couple of these books, or just, you know, gives you a little bit of inspiration for your May TBR. Alright, love y'all, and I thank you for joining this video. I hope that you have an amazing day. Podcast episodes are out every Saturday on this channel and also on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And yeah, so I hope that you have an amazing day, and I will see you next time for another video. Bye!